Alright guys, so today we're gonna look at Hashaton Scarab's Fist. This is a fun deck. I basically built this on a whim, and I mean, I think there is like some sort of pre-con for this, but I didn't look at it at all. I wanted a reanimator deck, and I wanted to jam all my favorite creatures into it. And this deck's a lot of fun, and it's also pretty good. I've won a lot of games with it. And some people really do not like this deck, but we're gonna see why. So a couple things to note: Hashaton is a 2 mana commander, which is awesome, and also it's Esper because there's blue in the text. So basically, what he does is whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2 and a blue. If you do, you create a tapped zombie that's a 4/4 and a copy of that creature. A couple things is that this deck is kind of hard to interact with. On top of like the Stax pieces and the interaction and the removal and stuff like that. On top of all that, this is a triggered ability, and we have a lot of cycling cards or cards that do things around like discarding, obviously drawing and discarding a lot. So we're hardly ever casting spells really, and that makes it really difficult for people to do anything about most of the time. They can stifle this, which sometimes that happens, and it doesn't really matter because then you can just reanimate something out of the graveyard anyway. So yeah, it's very hard to interact with. Another thing is too that I really like about this commander is that even if there's like a rest in peace or a ley line out of the void, this still gets around it because you discard the creature and you make the cut. You can pay 3 and make the token anyway. So yes, the creature will be excuse me, the creature will be exiled. However, you still get the black zombie copy of it. You just won't be able to reanimate it later, which, who cares at that point. But yeah, it's a really awesome card. We're gonna look at our cyclers first. I tried to pick the cheapest, most effective or efficient ones to put in here because I don't like paying a whole lot of mana for my stuff. And there's a lot of really funny cards in the deck. So Careful Study, draw 2, discard 2. It's like a worse Faithless Looting. It doesn't have flashback, but who cares? Hapless Researcher. I saw this card and I was like, well, this has to go in, right? You sack him and you draw a discard. So really funny. Vohar. This card is it's okay. Draw and discard. If you discard instant or sorcery, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. It's alright. Has another effect that sometimes comes up, but it's basically instant sorcery recursion. Cabal Initiate. Just discarder, instant speed. This card is awesome. This is insane. Ghostly Pilferer. Whenever it becomes untapped, you pay 2 and then you draw. So obviously, mainly during upkeeps, sometimes I'll pay the 2 and draw into more stuff that I need. And then whenever opponent casts a spell from outside their hand, you draw a card. Obviously, that's going to be mostly people's commanders, but sometimes people play looting or storm, stuff like that. So me drawing a lot of cards, but main reason why it's here is the instant speed discard. Merfolk Looter, so draw and discard. You have to tap it, but doesn't really matter. Imp is awesome. It's a 1 mana guy who discards. Still have Entomber, so Discard a creature, then draw a card. Thought Courier, Courier, yep. Draw a discard. Psychic Frog is insane in this deck. It's everything you ever want in a card for a deck like this, because sometimes you get a low on cards in hand, and this is like, oh, yep, I'll go ahead and refill it for you, and also have instant discard. So last one is Olivia's Dragoon. So ideally, opening hand, you want something like this in your hand with a payoff. Let's look at the ramp. Bellar Stone, Talisman of Progress, Mox Amber, Mox Diamond, Dominance, Hierarchy, Lotus Petal, Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Chromox, and Spring Leaf Drum. Not really necessary sometimes, but I mean, if you have some of these in your hand opening, it's pretty insane. Yeah, especially, this was a card I didn't have in for a while, but put it in recently, and because I never really attack with this guy anyway, so it's like free mana. Let's look at the reanimation cards. There's not that many. There's only these three. You can play more, but this deck really doesn't need that many. It's only if like Hashaton dies, or if I just really want to put more threats in, you know, I'll play them, but really not necessary. We have interaction. Muddle is, it's okay. The transmute is sometimes relevant because sometimes I need some sort of discard outlet or something. Counterspell, Collective Brutality is insane. Not only is it a discard outlet, it's also removal, and you can target people's hands if, basically a Thoughtseize, kinda. Well, only instant sorceries, but you can take, you know, whatever they tutored out of their hand. Path to Exile. Sinister Concoction is very, very good. You can politician a lot with this. This is a card that I was hesitant to put in for a while, but it's 3 mana, and it's rather a counterspell or a looting, so it's like, it kind of does both. There's one called like Refute or something. I don't know. It's 3 mana. Whenever you counter something, you draw and discard. Thinking about putting that one in. Negate, Bone Shards, Spell Pierce, No More Lies, and Swords of Plowshares. So, decent amount of interaction. Still need to do that. Doesn't matter what the game is. You need to interact with people. Alright, now we're going to get into the auto looters. These are cards that loot themselves. Tried to pick the best ones. Archfiend Ifnir is awesome. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you put a -1/-1 counter on each of your opponent's creatures. So, obviously, this is basically a board wipe almost every turn, because you just keep putting -1/-1 counters on their stuff. So, Angel of Ruins, plane cycling, and also the ability is just way too good not to put in. I try to get like as many 2 or less cycling because I don't want to spend that much mana. I already have to pay 3 for Hashaton, you know, so unless the card was like insanely good like these, like I was like, okay, they can go in. Troll, Swamp Cycling, enough said. Sometimes I reanimate it, but it's not really relevant compared to other creatures I have. This one, I hesitated for a while putting in, but basically It's a win more card. You can target, you know, like an actual threat that you have and make another one and then lock out people. Riverwinder is just a cycling. In worst case scenario, you have a 4/4 with hexproof, so yeah, it's alright. And then Eagles of the North, playing cycling. Sometimes the ability is relevant, sometimes not. It just kind of depends. Alright, we're going to look at the Stax pieces. So, trying to put more creature Stax pieces in, so, but I don't really know where to put this, so it's a value piece. Mystic Remora. Rhystic Study obviously would be also pretty good. Even Mind Sensor shuts off searching for your opponents. Lavinia is very annoying for people who want to cast a lot of non-creature spells. Leon Arbiter shuts off, pseudo shuts off searching. And then Rule of Law. Deafening Silence also is really good. What's another one? Damping Spear is also pretty good. But Rule of Law, I mean, that shuts off basically every deck. And we never cast spells anyway, so yeah. Maybe like one a turn at most. Okay, now we're gonna get into the bombs. So I tried to choose ones that, you know, definitely do something when they enter. Overlord of the Flood Pits. This is one that I hesitated for a while, but again, worst case scenario for this is you drop it for 3 mana and then you loot. Well, you draw 2, discard 1. Massacre Worm is awesome. This is a proxy, obviously. This is Ancient Gold Dragon. I didn't feel like spending, you know, $60 on a real one. Maybe one day, but I do use some proxies, but try not to. Armagon or whatever. This enters, it shoots down 3 creatures. This is basically a commander only card for the most part. Tide Sprout Tyrant. Discount Hullbreaker Horror. Drog Skull Reaver. It just draws cards, and so it's alright. Blazing Archon. If someone's playing like aggro or something, they're like, well, I can't attack you, so it's actually pretty relevant a lot of times because there's a lot of decks that want to go wide or drop big threats, and so yeah, this kind of shuts them off. Progress Tyrant obviously needs to go in. People do not like this card, but I'm like, whatever. It shuts off interaction for us, or for them, so, you know, you can't, that just makes it harder for them to deal with us. Avacyn, Angel of Hope, this is a proxy, but, I mean, it looks cool, so whatever. This card's like still $80 for some reason. Ashen Rider, enters, exiles something. I thought about taking this out but the reason why I haven't taken it out yet is because sometimes, like, it's good to have a way to remove something. I could put in like Vindicate and stuff like that, but I don't know. I would rather have like a creature that's like kind of like only for a purpose of getting rid of a problematic piece on the board. And this hits, you know, any permanent, so it's alright. We have basically the Archon brothers, all 3 of them, including him, so had to add him in. Archon of Cruelty is, you know, it's a fun card for you. Agent of Treachery, another card that people really don't like, especially if you can get them out on, you know, turn 3 and start taking people's, you know, lands and stuff, so or their commanders. Runescar Demon sometimes is problematic because we have cards that shut down for like Leon Arbiter that shuts off our everybody's searching, but just pay 2 mana and then, you know, cycle this guy. Sometimes he's relevant, sometimes it's whatever. Ancient Silver Dragon, again, this is a proxy, but I don't know, looks cool. This is a Hole Breaker Whore, the real one, because obviously people like playing against that. And then a proxy Ancient Brass Dragon. So my rule is with proxies is like if the card's like over 20 bucks, I'm gonna proxy it probably, because I don't really see a point in spending over 20, but especially when you're making like a lot of decks, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's basically the whole deck. The rest is just lands. So yeah, it's a fun deck, and yeah, that's about it.